Imagine meeting somebody who just lost their job. They're worried about feeding their family, paying the bills, and keeping a roof over their heads. Well, what can you do? How can you respond? Hi, I'm Pam from All Nations. Join me for a series in which we explore the different needs that come to light as we chat with people and the different ways that we can respond by telling Jesus stories. I'll show you a story, and then I'll even share a follow-up story, a true story of somebody who did exactly that. They found a friend with a need, and they shared a Jesus story from the Bible. Now, one story of the many possible ones that reveals how much Jesus truly cares about people is the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. Let me tell you this story from my story cards that I have here. One day, Jesus got in a boat because he wanted to be alone and get away from the people. But when he saw the people, he had compassion on them and began to heal them. The people actually began to follow Jesus. And it was getting late, and so the disciples came to Jesus and said, send them away to their different villages so that they can get something to eat and something to drink. And Jesus said, that's not necessary. You don't need to do that. You feed them. And they said, well, we only have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And so Jesus had them all sit down on the grass, and he took the bread and the fish, and he looked up towards heaven, and he gave thanks, and he began to break it into pieces and to distribute it. And Jesus then gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to all the people, and all the people were fed. And that day, 5,000 men were fed, in addition to all the women and the children. And they even had 12 leftover baskets of food. There was such a great abundance. And that's the end of the story. Now, after you tell a Jesus story, you don't have to tell people what it means. You can actually just pause and see how the person responds to that story. It's often a good idea to ask them if they would be open to allowing you to pray that God would provide their needs. God often does amazing and unexpected things far beyond what we could even hope or imagine. Now, next week, I'll tell you a story where that actually happened, where somebody found a friend in need, told them a Jesus story, and then God moved on their behalf.